I'm just gonna be a negative human being today. I'm so sorry. Like, I have nothing positive to say about myself about that.
Someone said Naomi Osaka reminds them of Sadness from Inside Out, and they're not wrong.
Naomi Osaka is on the news and everybody is worried about her. Let's talk about it. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video we want to talk about the tennis player Naomi Osaka, and she's getting people really worried. So she just had a game yesterday, and on the after the game she lost the match. And you guys know how to do it with in tennis and in most sports, where after the game the players will sit down and have conversation with press. And during her press speech and interview, she went on to talk about how she has nothing positive to say about herself, and yeah, that basically the last thing that probably made her happy was her daughter's birthday. And this has struck a lot of conversation because people are saying that the spark in her eyes are gone. Naomi used to be this very bubbly young tennis star, but now it almost seems like she's dragging herself through tennis, through playing tennis. And this has gotten a lot of people talking because a lot of people are saying that it's since she had a baby, and this is why this is when this spark started going on. Some people are saying maybe this could be postpartum depression. Some people are saying, oh, it's since she met a man and all that. But yeah, this has really struck a whole thing, and I feel like this is very important because a lot of times as women we don't talk about how women in their peak of their career gets pregnant and their entire life changes, and they what they anticipate or what society has sold to them as the idea of having a baby becomes the reality of my life is flipped upside down. So yeah, let's go check out a couple of clips from the interview, people's response to it, and then we'll come back and talk. But you let me know what you think about it.
I'm just gonna be a negative human being today. I'm so sorry. Like, I have nothing positive to say about myself, which
Wow.
is something I'm working on. I think, yeah. I mean, it was my daughter's birthday, so I was happy about that this week. But other than that, it's just today I'm just constantly replaying the match now. You know what's ironic is, like, at the beginning of the tournament when I did my press, I don't know who asked me this, but basically it was a question about like my first time playing on grass, and then I had a solid thought about it, and I realized, like, when I was younger I had no fear, and I think when you're young you fear nothing, and that's one of the really cool things about it. But I don't know, with age fear kind of crept along and I guess paralyzed me in a way. So now I'm kind of just getting over that and trying to spread my wings on grass, and I think it is working, and I think I am moving pretty well. And yeah, I just hope that in years to come, and hopefully this year, I can do a lot better in this tournament.
Did anybody else see Naomi Osaka's recent interview after she lost her match? I mean, all of her interviews are pretty consistent since, having her child. She is just so negative. She is so hard on herself, and it's very clearly postpartum depression. But, like, no offense, but this is the reason why I will not have a child before I'm married, okay? She had a baby at the height of her career. The height of her career. And a lot of people, like, you just don't know. Everybody's body is different. You don't know how your body is going to respond to pregnancy, not just physically, but mentally, the toll that it takes on your body, right? And there's other athletes that have been able to bounce right back after pregnancy. I do believe that's, also because they probably had a very supportive spouse and they were very stable. But and then everybody's body is just different, and clearly hers is not, bouncing back the way that she thought it would, and it's taking a toll on her mentally. It's very obvious. Nonetheless, I'm just not going to risk my physical, mental health, potentially my career, for a man that I'm not married to. Like, I understand that marriage is, like, it doesn't mean that it's gonna last, but there are benefits that come with marriage. And I feel like me personally, I'm not gonna marry just anybody. So I'm gonna really take my time when I, get with my husband. But nonetheless, like, I'm not risking, that for a boyfriend. Like, seeing her interviews is so sad. Like, there's just sadness in her eyes, and I just don't think that she's ready to be back on the tennis court, child. Like, I think that she needs to speak to a therapist. before, because a lot of that is clearly mental.
Yep.
It's very sad to watch.
I'm just gonna be a negative human being today. I'm so sorry. Like, I have nothing positive to say about myself, which is something I'm working on. I think, yeah. I mean, it was my daughter's birthday, so I was happy about that.
Someone said Naomi Osaka reminds them of Sadness from Inside Out, and they're not wrong. What happened, girl? You lost a match. It's your national treasure.
Exactly.
Then I saw another comment that said, like, she's been like this for a while now, and then I watched a couple more interviews, and she's so sad. Is it that man? Sorry, she said, my daughter's birthday made me happy. Daughter means man. Man means problems. It's giving Eeyore. How did none of those reporters stop the questions and hug her? Naomi Osaka needs a hug. She needs to put down the racket and get herself to some kind of retreat. Do a month at Almongiri, okay? Call Coco, go to happy hour. Leave that man.
You know, I think for Naomi Osaka's own good, she just needs to step back for a few years. Like, heal, rejuvenate, renew. Like, she needs to go for a while, because it's been a long time, and she's had the same mindset and the same self-loathing behaviors and language, and it's like actually really sad to see. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my goodness, someone on her team needs to like get her the help that she needs, because it's obviously been years of her crying for help, and it just seems like no one is there for her. And I feel like really bad for her too, because she's also a mom, and not that her kid was not a blessing, it's just maybe not at the right time. I don't know. I just really would like to see her happy, and like, I think that's going to take a few years for her to get to, just because it seems like she's in a really low, like, broken place.
If you don't know what postpartum depression looks like, the interview of Naomi Osaka talking about after she lost the third round at Wimbledon, that is what it looks like. Postpartum can manifest itself weeks after you have the baby, right after you have the baby, months after you have the baby, a year after you have the baby, and it can last for weeks, it could last for months, and it can last for years. So even though her baby was born in 2023, she can still be exhibiting symptoms of postpartum. Yeah. Postpartum is Russian roulette, because just not everybody experiences postpartum, and the girls that never experience postpartum, or at least severe postpartum, lucky individuals, because it doesn't even matter if it's your first kid. But I'm gonna tell you this much: your first kid will send you into a spiral, because you're rediscovering who the hell you are, and those first 3, 4, 5 years are rough, man, because you're especially when you're at the top of your goddamn career. When you're at the tippy top of your career, you had a baby, you're dealing with all these hormonal changes. Now you have to figure out how to be a mom and be the top bitch of your goddamn career, and it's your job. And that is a hard thing to sit and figure out for anybody. It don't even matter what kind of, even if you got money or not, that's a hard thing to figure. This is why y'all gotta be smart about who you let. You just you can't be at the top of your career. Get an IUD. Get an IUD.
Exactly.
All right, do you hear me? You're at the top of your damn career, and any man that's coming to you, he plotting. It's very rare that they not plotting. It's very, very rare. He gotta have his own stuff going on, and if it's not better than your stuff, he plotting. I don't care what you say. If it ain't better than your stuff, he hating and he plotting on you. And that all I know is I pray that her family is keeping a close watch on her, and making sure she's loved and cared for and all of the things. Because as a mom, I'll tell you this much: postpartum about took me up out of here. Yeah, with my son, it's not funny, but like, it's funny now that I'm going back on it, because when I said I was struggling, I thought that Zodi was bad, but like, my son Raja told you, I'm grateful that I'm still here, because it could have went totally different.
Can we talk about Naomi Osaka? Because if you watched that Wimbledon interview, you might have seen what I had seen. A young woman who looks like she is quietly crumbling. She said, I have nothing positive to say about myself. Not her performance, not her comeback to playing, nothing. Y'all, I don't think that was just about having a bad match. I think that might have been a cry for help. There is a pattern that a lot of us are seeing and talking about here on TikTok. A woman begins to reach superstar status. Suddenly, boom, she's pregnant. While the internet loves the power couple, what we don't talk enough about is the way jealous men intentionally slow down powerful women by anchoring them with a baby before he is emotionally mature enough to be her equal in her support. Naomi gave birth to her daughter back in July 2023. Less than 2 weeks later, she was back in training. We know women in elite sports don't get grace, especially not new moms, especially not Black new moms. She has businesses, endorsements, a legacy to protect. She's also fighting for her spot on the court while trying to show up for her daughter and herself. And we think about her relationship with her daughter's father, Corday. She says that their split was like they were on the same page. And I do believe her. But I also believe he was never really ready for a woman whose star outshined his. He once even said he didn't know who Naomi was when they first started dating. He said, "I know Serena. That's it." That was a huge red flag. They love to hide their truth in jokes. Naomi has publicly shared her history with depression and anxiety. We also know that postpartum mental health struggles don't have to show up right away. They can hit months, even years after giving birth. Not to mention, we love to praise new moms for the snapback, for getting back to grinding, for going back to doing it all. But real community stops to ask how she's really doing. Naomi's whole life, folks have wanted training, performance, results from her. It's likely really hard for her to see herself outside of that. She needs rest. There has been a noticeable shift in Naomi. The joy in her eyes is dimmer. The spark is missing. She's still pushing, but I feel like we can see that the weight on her shoulders is a lot heavier. I'm not saying that to judge her. I say it because I see her. She said it herself in an interview with Glamour that she did shortly after she had her baby. She said, "My world turned into a completely different world in one night." That's not just about tennis. It's about what happens to high-achieving women when they become mothers. If they are not fully emotionally resourced, supported, protected, a man can throw a woman's entire path off track easily, especially a man who feels inadequate. I hope the people closest to Naomi are really paying attention, because behind all of those trophies and brand deals, she's still a young Black woman navigating pain and pressure in real time on the world stage.
Somebody give this girl a hug. Somebody give Naomi Osaka a hug. I feel like as of late, a lot of her interviews, she's been sad. She's been somber. She seems to be, I don't want to say depressed, but it seems like she has a lot of mental health things going on. Now, I don't know her personally, so I don't like to play on anybody's mental, but I'm just going based off of her backstory, or, you know, her history. Remember back in 2021, Naomi Osaka took a mental health hiatus from tennis. Now, when Naomi Osaka decided to drop out for her mental health, it was a big deal. And I don't mean like, oh, you know, I mean, it was a big deal. She faced a lot of backlash, but a lot of the celebrities and a lot of the other athletes ended up having her back. And she ended up getting the cover of Time magazine. It's okay to not be okay. Now, you have to remember, around this time, she was 23 years old. It was May 2021, and we were just somewhat coming out of COVID. A lot of the officials were trying to figure out if they still wanted people in the stands, if they still wanted the players to be masked up. I'm trying to figure out, was this the same year that LeBron James won the bubble championship that a lot of people are saying it wasn't a championship? But she ended up withdrawing from the French Open as well as the Wimbledon. And we all know, if you don't know tennis, you know that you've heard of the French Open and you've heard of the Wimbledon. Venus, Serena, this is the game that the tennis players, a lot of the tennis players make their name elite. Like, this is where they call you an elite player, where you get written down in the history book. So for her to have dropped out, it was a big deal. Mind you, when she dropped out, that was in May and June. Back in July, shortly after this, she ended up making her return and competing in the Olympic Games in Tokyo, representing Japan. This was also a big deal because the GOAT herself dropped out of some games as well. So you know what, Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles were drawn for their mental health. It just sparked Either you hated it or you loved it, you didn't support it or you did support it. But it definitely made a lot of people take their kids and talk to them about the mental health, the pressures that they face when they're playing sports. I know for myself, I coached. It made me talk to my players a little bit more about outside of the game, but what's going on in here. But let's get back to Naomi Osaka. So shortly after that, she ended up making her comeback, right? And she ended up doing well. And we end up seeing the bubbly, the happy Naomi Osaka doing her interview, serving up her serves. And then
Boom.
she met Corday. I'm not going to say that they met, but it surfaced that they were dating. And it was cute seeing them together. And I didn't know who he was, but after they started dating, I started listening to his music, and I do like his music. I do like wash my dishes and stuff to his music. So after that, they end up having a little girl. So shortly after that, she ended up having her daughter. And then she went into, I don't want to say a depression, but she spoke very, she spoke a lot on how hard it was to get back to yourself being a pro athlete after having a baby. They did a campaign. She spoke on bills that needed to be passed for mothers to get more time off after they have their baby. Like 12 weeks is not enough. But she went into a downfall, and you can see it in the interviews during that time. And if you play sports, or not even if you play sports, like if you're a woman and you had an athlete, if you weren't a woman and you had an athlete, if you're a woman and you had a baby, you understand how hard it is to get back into that shape. And I wouldn't even necessarily say shape. Well, you know what? I'll talk about that in another video, because that's not what this is about. This is about Naomi. All right. So a lot of her interviews, in her past interviews, she spoke down on herself. Let me go to the last one that I watched. So I'm not sure what game this was, but I watched this interview and she was so down. Like, she talked about how bad she was playing, of course. I could tell that she beats herself up a lot. But she mentioned her trainer, she mentioned her coaches, and she was talking about, is this recording? Oh, it is recording. She was talking about how she feels bad because she doesn't like disappointing people. And some of that makes me wonder if, like her background and her having a baby, and like her not being married and her having her downfall somewhat of her career is playing on her head. She even mentioned about her coaches working with these elite athletes and then coming to her and saying, who the F is this? Like, those were her words. Wow. She said, like, she feels like her coaches say, who the F am I working with? So I feel like it's a lot going on up here, whether it's emotional, whether she's thinking about her body physically, whether she's thinking about her relationship, being a single mom, the downfall of her career, because it's always fun and it's always easy when you're doing well. But when you're not doing well and then you get this close, or the Wimbledon seems to be something that she has always had a problem with, playing on different type of courts. We know that she can play on clay, but when it comes to the grass, even she admitted that she never had anxiety of the grass until she got older. She was fearless as a kid, but now that she's gotten older, a lot of her fears have maximized. So I'm hoping that our girl makes a comeback, that she gets back to who she is. She remember who she is, and that she evolves into the game, because you can be a good player and you can be stagnant for so long and you lose it. But you have to, I hope she evolve. I hope she get back to the bubbly Naomi Osaka. The people in her camp, go ahead and give her a hug. Tell her she got this, because I need my player back. Okay? I need my player back. But that's all I got to say.
So please go ahead in the comment section and let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section, this conversation. Go on and share your thought. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought. A lot of time, and this is why I create the content I create, because just to really inform women about the actual reality. And a lot of the time, women don't understand what it takes to be a mother, having a child, and what that does to your body, you mentally, spiritually, physically, and even financially. And you could clearly tell that Naomi Osaka, she is really struggling. Whatever struggle she's struggling, she's struggling. She already has her own personal struggle going on in her life before she even had a baby. And even having a baby is just going to pile up to it even more. So seeing her how she is, you could just see that the entire spark and light in her eyes is gone. Even back then in is it 2021 where she backed out from a game, the spark was even still, it wasn't as the way it is now, where she is, you can just look like it's all gone. And it's almost like, for me personally, is like she is just playing the game because it's a job. She has to fulfill her obligation. You know, when you have a job and you don't want to go to work, but you have to go to work because you have bills to pay, then you have to show up. That is what she's giving me. And the truth is that is she's not going to show up in her best self. And then I've also seen interview of her talking about how as a child, when she wins, she doesn't feel, it's not happiness. She feels kind of more of a relief. Then when she loses, is more of a sadness. You could clearly tell that she right from when she was young, she has been going through a lot of pressure from everybody around her, both our coach, our parents, guardians, everybody, because everybody is just pushing her and all that. And one thing a lot of people don't talk about, we see when young stars rise to fame, or when we see young people do well, we give a lot of praise and all that, and like, oh yes, yes, yes. But the mental work that goes into it is not being discussed a lot. A lot of the time when we see people that are made stars as young people, like as young people, maybe in their teens, you could clearly see that it's almost giving like the people in their life did not really care. The push kind of take away the emotions out of them and make them grow up so fast that they lose a lot of who they were progressing to be. I don't know if I'm making sense. And then they jump into this stadium that even adults are struggling to handle, and then a child has it, and then all that, and then now boils down to where she now go have a baby with a man. And a lot of people will say, oh, you have a baby before you get married. But ladies, this is something we also talk a lot here about here on this channel, talking about how women should be very intentional and how they move and how they even give their body away. Because a lot of the time, this is something that we've seen it with Kiki Palmer, we've seen it with what's the name, what's this, my brain is not working right now. You guys know what I'm talking about, the girl with the NY baby daddy. Oh, God, why can't I remember her name right now? My brain is foggy right now, so pardon me. But yeah, we've seen it how a lot of successful young women has been trapped with having a baby. And this is something as society, as the world as a whole, has actually idolized being a mother, without telling women and younger girls what it really takes and what it really means to be a mother, psychologically, mentally. But the truth is that a lot of these men know the effect of a woman having a child, because they know they've locked you down for life. For life, you will have to deal with them. And even if you don't want to deal with them, you still have to deal with them because you share a child with them. So a lot of the time, a lot of women, a lot of young girls get into that place where they get into it, and then it's almost like you can't return the baby, you can't return all the emotions and everything that's happened to you. You're just going to deal with those trauma, and it shows up in different way, and it shows up with a lot of times they don't like themselves. I don't want to really speak on, because I know she's going through a lot, on Naomi exactly, like, even though we're having a conversation about, but I'm trying to make it like more of a general than just her alone, because it's a lot of things that a lot of women and young girls go through, especially when they are at the height of their career. And this is why, like, ladies, I'm begging you, if you're at the height of the career, don't give that away up to, oh, I want to be a mom, oh, I want to have a family. No, the truth is that that is what keeps you there first. Like, always prioritize yourself. It's being glamorized. It's not the way it looks. Honestly, I'm telling you. I'm gonna hear this repeatedly from mothers, people that have gone ahead to do it. And a lot of times you see young people. I was still talking to one of my young friends. She just turned 20, and I was having a conversation we normally have here, the reality of being a mother, the reality of being in a relationship, what it is, what people outside or what society make you think that's what it is till you get into it. And the thing, she just looked at me like, but auntie, I still want to. And I'm like, yeah, Mugbe. So everything I've been saying now is not getting into your ear, but that's just how it is. Most times, some people, some young girls, some women don't want to listen to this conversation we keep having, and these women sharing their story that has happened to. Most times, they feel like they are of the exception. It's not going to happen to them, but the truth that it's happening to more women than less women. So you think about it. So I pray like she is able to get the help that she needs, because it is what it is. It's here now. She's dealing with it. I pray that the people around her is able to help her get the help that she needs, because you could just see it in her eyes. And I don't know how they can see this in her and still make her to show up. Even though sometimes it's good to show up, but sometimes it's also very good for you to take a step back and then reevaluate yourself. Go take care of your mental and your physical self, so that you can be a better version of yourself. Like, I've always shared this story on this channel, talking about how it was when I had a stillbirth. That was a turning point for me. And therapy also helped me. I've been doing therapy before I had a stillbirth, but just having it just really changed the perspective on how I move on life. I already have a lot of things building up and all that questions I was asking myself, but that just changed. So therapy is very, very helpful for you to take care of your mental health, because the way you show up for yourself mentally reflect on how you show up for yourself physically and even spiritually. So yeah, I pray she gets the help that she needs, and get the people to do people around her to get it, because sometimes you might not even realize you need this help. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. But as always, please keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thoughts, okay? Don't forget to share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.